Hello everyone, I'm back. Firstly I'd like to say thank you to everybody who left me messages and to the people who sent me messages asking how I'm getting on with my fluoxetine. Yes, I'm still on it. There we go. There's been some changes over the last 3 months. One of which is spots, as you can see. It's spots at the minute. Okay, where did we leave off? Week 1. Stomach pains eventually went away. Hand cramps and tremors eventually went away. Now and then I get yawning, and that's apparently a common side effect of fluoxetine. It makes you yawn. And you don't even need to be tired or anything. It just makes you physically yawn. So I take my tablets at night now rather than early evening, just so I'm ready for sleeping rather than spending a few hours awake in people's company and yawning in their face. Okay, so here's what happened. Month 1, everything was fine. Everything seemed fine. Tablets seemed to be helping. I was on 20 ml of fluoxetine once a day. And then month 2 came. I went back to the doctor for a checkup appointment. And a new prescription. Everything was fine, but by the week following I had a massive panic attack, a massive panic attack or an anxiety attack or something. I ended up having to get an emergency appointment at the doctor's surgery to see whichever doctor was available at the time. I explained to her that I was freaking out, I was just melting down, I didn't know what to do with myself. And as most helpful doctors will say, well, what can I do for you? Well, if I knew what you could do for me, doctor, I would tell you. I wouldn't be asking you, what can you do for me? Anyway, she told me to double my medication, just to start taking 2 a day. And she also prescribed me some Zopiclone sleeping tablets. Because I wasn't sleeping, I was getting horrendous nightmares, absolutely horrendous nightmares. And they were so vivid and so horrible that I was waking up and my day was absolutely ruined. It was rubbish. If you can hear the whirring, please forgive me. The fan on my laptop is annoying me. Anyway, so my boyfriend picked me up from the chemist. I told him that the doctor had told me to double up my medication and he was concerned. And he was rather concerned that I'd best not do that because he too is on SSRIs. And he thought from his experience, 1 month isn't enough for your medication to be settled down. So I gave it a couple of days, I calmed down, the sleeping tablets helped, so I was getting sleep and I wasn't waking up with stress. And that was fine. Didn't bother doubling up on my medication. When it came to my next doctor's appointment, I saw my regular doctor. He's a lovely chap. Spoke to him about everything, and also I brought this along. Now, I'm not going to show you the contents of this jotter because it's private. But when I started having the nightmares, and when I started having that kind of mid-month meltdown, which wasn't related to a period before anybody comes in with anything silly, memories and unhappy times started coming back to me. So I took an empty jotter, I have plenty lying about the place, and started writing things down. just so that when I do get to see the mental health team, I can show them the jotter, because I know that I will just clam up and I won't be able to tell them what's on my mind. So yeah, this is like nearly half full. Yeah, but 1 page away from being half full. And my appointment with the mental health care team is on the 23rd of July. Finally. So yeah, what else do I need to tell you about? I was assessed by someone from the mental health team back in April, and from speaking with her, well, I say speaking, she asked questions and I nodded or shook my head. She has put me forward for cognitive behaviour therapy. She's put me forward for counselling, and she's put me forward for what's it called again? EMDR, eye movement desensitization and restabilization, which is something often given to people with post-traumatic stress disorder. So that was a bit of a shock to be told that they were planning on sending me for that, but I'm open to anything at all because I just want to get on with my life. So yeah, I've been waiting months for my first mental health proper session, and that is coming up next week, Tuesday next week. Can't wait. Since then, since I last spoke, I've still not really gone back to work. I've actually started a kind of new business. I started making jewellery. Go figure, I'm a girl. I started making jewellery, started getting out a little bit more, maybe. I'm doing a little bit of work. And yeah, that's been pretty much it. Not much really going on. I did have a bit of an episode last week where I felt really, really down. And I told my boyfriend a couple of days after I felt really, really down. I told my boyfriend about it because he could sense that there was something up with me, but I just wasn't talking. And I said, look, I've had a couple of bad days, and it came into my head just the other day that I wanted to cut myself. I don't actually want to cut myself. From past experience, I know that cutting myself makes me bleed, and it hurts, and it's embarrassing, and it serves no purpose other than to cause myself pain. But I had the urge to grab the new kitchen knife, which is a fairly basic kitchen chopping knife, and kind of plunge it into my thigh. I didn't, but the thought was there. So he's an amazing guy. My boyfriend's amazing. He didn't freak out. He didn't tell me he was angry. He didn't, say, fuck this, you're too much, I'm gone. We sat and spoke about it. And then at one point during the conversation, I had to excuse myself and go cry. And I cried a lot. I went to the bathroom and I was hysterically crying because we were talking about life and depression. And life is like, the way he put it was something along the lines of, life is like a garden, and you need to keep the garden nice or it gets overgrown and the weeds overtake your garden. There's always going to be weeds. There will always be weeds. And everybody's garden has weeds, but if you keep on top of them, you can deal with it. And that just made so much sense to me that something just went kind of click in my head, and I went to the bathroom and I was crying, but not just crying, I was laughing and crying. I was like, right, that's it, I've had a complete mental breakdown, I'm laughing hysterically and crying, what the fuck. But I felt better afterwards. I felt as though someone had taken some pressure out of the pressure cooker. So, you know, I think that's a good thing. So yeah, 3 months summary. I'm on 40 ml of fluoxetine a day. I no longer take my sleeping tablets because they're addictive. I only use them to get me through a bad patch, but I have 3 left in case of emergencies. And I go to see mental health people next week, and my appetite is still gone. I don't eat unless I actually feel as if I'm going to pass out, and then remind myself that I have to eat. And I've lost 1/2 stone in weight. You know, it's not something I'm going to celebrate because it's not something I've done off my own steam. It's through the medication, but I have had some weight loss. And my skin has broken out, and there's something going on with my lips. But yeah. Anyway, I'm not dead. There's light at the end of the tunnel, even if it is an oncoming train. So yeah, once I've been to my counselling and stuff, I will update again. But keep the faith. If you're on fluoxetine or any other kind of SSRI, antidepressant, just remember you're not alone. You're not alone, and whatever brought you to being on those tablets, you know, you'll be able to deal with it. At some point in your life, you need to deal with it. And I'm terrified. I'm absolutely terrified of facing my demons. But I know if I don't face my demons, I'll be on tablets for the rest of my life. And once I've faced them, and once I've learned how to deal with them, I can flip the bird to the tablets and thank them for cushioning the blow until I got better. If I get better, which I'm sure I will. Anyway, rambling. See you all again soon, and thanks again for the messages, everyone. Bye.